3:30 in the morning.
Hi, everyone. Agnes here. I have got a special little quirky interview with two of my favorite organic nuts today. I've got Marilyn and Eric with me, and they are in California. Hello, Marilyn and Eric.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to see you both. And
Good to see you too.
Yes, it's this is a very special day to be interviewing the two of you, because this goes back at least a couple of years, and this story is an amazing story. And for those of you that listen to Marilyn's story, this is Marilyn and her lovely partner, Eric. So we're going to hear all the stuff that's happened over the last few years, and we're going to go right back to the beginning and start as to what happened when you guys first met, and then the breakup, and then where you are today. So let's rewind right back to that point.
So we first met because we were going to be working together, and we were at a work retreat, and Eric hadn't actually started working with me yet, but this was a retreat of this during the summer before we were going back to work in the fall. And we were doing these activities, and we were partnered up to do a dyad together. And I think from that very first moment, we were like, oh my God. And I was married and he had a girlfriend. But the minute we met, I think we were both like, oh my God, like what is happening right now?
We both had Converse on.
We were dressed the same.
Converse.
Yes.
Same, almost
we were wearing like matching outfits.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a connection from the get-go.
You think?
Yes. I'm pretty sure there was. Yes. But, you know, he had a girlfriend and I was married. So it was like.
But it was like, whoa.
It was.
Yeah.
In that moment, it was like that. And then the summer went by, and then we went back to work in the fall, and we were working together every day. And we kind of built a really close friendship. And at the time, I didn't feel that there was anything about me that would be attractive enough to him to want to be in a relationship with me.
You were married.
Well, I was married and he had a girlfriend. But as the time.
And we talked about it all. This is the best part, because we had lunch together every day and talked about shit and talked about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she knew my stuff, I knew her stuff. So it was.
Yeah.
But I never felt that I was good enough that he would want to be with me in a romantic way. And my marriage was horrible for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
Many years. I was unhappy and I just felt not attractive or not good enough. And here's this really cute guy, and he's so amazing. And like, what would he want with me? Yes, we were really good friends, but I didn't feel like he would ever see me in a romantic way.
Wow, I did.
But I didn't know that. I didn't feel that.
Well, because you were married.
Well, I was married.
You were married.
Yeah.
But I was very, very unhappily married.
Yeah.
Many, many years.
And I hung out with her husband and cooked tri-tip.
Yes. At a barbecue I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, we had this amazing relationship, friendship. And then about a year and a half into the friendship, he was brave enough to kind of tell me how he was feeling. And of course I was like, oh my God, Like, I've been coveting him for like a year and a half. And then
Yeah.
he was brave enough to come out and say to me that he was having feelings. And I was like, what? You know, because of course
Yeah.
I was having the same feelings. And then, you know, I did get divorced. And
you did.
I
That's
did.
right. That's right.
I got divorced. And his relationship with his girlfriend had ended quite a few months prior to this.
Okay.
And I got divorced, and we got together.
Yeah. Okay, so it was going well for how long?
It was going well, I would say, for about almost 2 years, although there was a lot of ups and downs during that time.
Yeah.
We each have a daughter.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was challenging with the kids. And I was going through the divorce, which was challenging. And he was going through some of his own stuff. And there was some ups and downs, but overall things were going pretty well, except that I was still in that place of feeling not good enough. And because I had so much abandon in my life, I was just waiting for the bottom to drop out. I just figured everybody leaves me, he's going to leave me too. And I'm coming from a place of, oh my God, look at him. He's amazing. He's so beautiful. He's so amazing. He can have any woman he wants. And it's
beautiful.
You are. And then at some point it's just going to drop out, and then I basically manifested it and created it. And it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That happened.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That was the night before my mom's funeral.
The night before his mom had passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the night before his mom's funeral, we
went
and hung out.
Happy hour.
We went to a happy hour at a place. And I was just feeling so insecure and so not good enough. And I was pushing, trying to get for him to make me feel okay.
Yeah.
Because
he was in grief, and he was grieving his mom.
Right. He was grieving. And I was just
It was bad.
It was a very rough time for both of us.
Yeah.
I was at the end of my divorce, and it was COVID on top of it.
Oh, yes, of course.
It was 2020.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of isolation and a lot of fear just overall. But then I was dealing with my own fear, because those few months before we broke up, I was just waiting, because everybody leaves me.
Yeah.
Now I've got this amazing man, and he's going to leave me too. So I was creating that scenario. Right. And he really tried to make me feel secure.
Yeah.
He really tried to tell me he loved me. But no matter what he said and no matter what he did, it wasn't enough, because I didn't have the self-love.
Yes.
Bottom line, I didn't have the self-love.
Yeah.
And so I kept pushing, and I kept trying to get, and basically, like you always say, I had my foot on the back of his neck.
And did you know about self-love then, or you weren't aware of the concept at that point? Did you?
Not so much.
Okay.
Not so much. I did not. I knew that I had very negative self-talk, and that I had very negative feelings about myself. But I didn't understand the whole piece of self-love and manifestation and law of attraction. None of that was really on my radar at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the point that night. Eric, what was going through your head when you were on the receiving end of that stuff, and you were still, obviously in grief about your mom? What was going on?
felt very cornered
Yeah.
of like, ugh,
Yeah.
it was really, and I didn't know what to do. Like,
Mm.
I love her, but this is not okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is not okay.
Yeah. And you
And
just had to get away from it? Was it
yeah,
like, oh God, I feel suffocated. I just got to get
yeah,
away from this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
Mm.
mm,
Yeah.
wait, what just happened here? Like,
Yeah.
did this just happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa. So it was a lot. And you came to the funeral,
Yeah.
but when did that?
A week after the funeral,
A
you
week
broke up
after.
with me.
Yeah.
And I knew it was coming because,
The
of course,
breakup.
I created it.
Mm.
I mean, I had literally created it.
Yeah.
And he did the exact right thing by breaking up with me. I mean, I
Yeah.
deserved it in a way.
No,
I mean,
no, you don't deserve anything, but
well,
it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you have your stuff and we had all our shit, but yeah, it was,
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't quite deal with it. It was like a lot of
Yeah.
everything that, I mean, it was the night before my mom's funeral. It was like,
Yeah. 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 Of
and
course.
it all came out and shit happens, but it was like, okay, this is not all right.
This isn't working. So did you actually say, look, I can't do this. I need to be on my own. Did you utter some of those types of words at the time?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I did.
He did.
I told you.
He did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, I was like in this state of desperation. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, but aren't you going to miss me? Are you okay with losing me? I was trying to talk him into staying with me.
Yeah.
I was
As you
using
do.
every angle I could
Yeah.
to try to convince him. And looking back on it now, it was very sad and pathetic on my part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was so needy and I so didn't want to be left yet again, even though I created it.
Mm.
When it was actually happening, I was like, no, you can't leave me. And here's why.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like,
Yeah.
he was pretty strong in his conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For his emotional survival at that
Right.
point, he couldn't take anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, isn't it interesting? It's like, Eric, you never had done that before. You'd kind
I've
of go, oh,
never
that's
done
okay.
that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a big move.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was interesting about it is that he's breaking up with me, but he's saying I love you at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
if you love me, you wouldn't be leaving me. Now I understand that he
Yeah.
could still love me, but needed to do what was the right thing for him.
That's it. Yeah. It's such a great self-respect move. It really is. And it's hard to do when you know it's going to potentially affect the other person.
Super hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But you had too much emotional stuff going on. You just couldn't take anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fantastic that you did that. and look at the domino effect.
Right here.
I mean, like I remember Marilyn and I talking, and I said, there will come a point where you will thank him for that. And she was like, oh, yeah, okay. And
Because I was brokenhearted. I mean, I'm 60 years old.
yeah.
And so I've been married. I've been in a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
And I've been hurt before and brokenhearted before, but
Yeah.
nothing quite at this level.
Yes.
When he broke up with me, it was so very painful because I felt like I finally found my person, my SP.
Yes.
I finally found my SP and I just was reliving all my same old patterns and all my childhood trauma, all my inner child stuff.
Yeah.
And here I go again,
Yeah.
creating another trauma in my life. But
Yeah.
I created it
Yeah.
because of all my past stuff. There's my inner child taking the reins and taking control.
Yeah.
Screwing up another situation. But this time, this situation was at a different level than what I
And
experienced
how
before.
did I do that? That's what I want to know.
How did you do what?
Set that boundary.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
How did you do that?
I don't know. Like it's
But you know, it's almost like you both had to face something that you hadn't faced before. You setting a clear boundary with someone who's trying to take your energy.
right.
And then Marilyn had to face all the old stuff from the abandonment from childhood. So it's like you both faced your worst nightmare in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had to deal with it. You couldn't escape it anymore.
Yeah, we couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had come to a point in our lives where we had to figure the stuff out.
Yeah. Separately first.
Yeah, separately. I would have never done it if he had just done what he's always done and just gone along with it. I would have never faced my stuff and he would have never faced his stuff.
That's it.
Right.
It's quite profound when you look back, isn't it? At that fork in the road was the greatest thing ever.
It was. It was. And for the first 4 months when we were broken up, we were not working together in person anymore because it was COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were working from home, which was a blessing, really, because if I had to have gone to work and seen him every day, I think I would have completely unraveled.
Yeah.
So it gave us that kind of space.
Yes.
To take a step back. And the first 4 months, I was completely wrecked.
Yeah.
I was brokenhearted. I was talking to my friends nonstop to try to make myself feel better. And of course, and like I said in my previous interview, don't talk to your friends because they don't understand the perspective you're coming from.
No.
I was getting a lot of the hands on the hips. He's not good enough for you. He should be doing this. You can do better. That whole kind of thing in an attempt to make me feel better.
Because they love you. Yes.
Because they love me. But in my heart and in my head, I was like, no, this is not on him. This is on me. I knew it was on me, but I just didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's when you and I met. That's when you and I met.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But what's interesting is that I was going through all this stuff, all this heartache and all this pain, but I didn't know what he was going through.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So what was going on for you? Yeah. Let's jump to that.
I was kind of numb. Literally.
Yeah.
Like just shut off.
Yeah.
Like shut off everything. Like,
yeah. Just to coping mechanism.
Oh, yeah. It was. Yeah. It was so much, and it was so a lot, and it was like I just.
Yeah.
I shut it down.
Yeah.
I became just
a recluse for a while.
Yeah.
Well, it was easy to be a recluse in COVID. It was easy.
Yeah. It was easy, and it was because it was. It was so much.
It was a lot.
So I just
shut the hatch down.
And just went with COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, because I don't know what's going on with him. And during those first 4 months, we were in very little contact. You know, he would text me once, like a Bitmoji or whatever. And I was like, what is this? And I was trying to shut my feelings down, but I was unsuccessful there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was experiencing. so I, in my head, right, because I'm so insecure and thinking all these things and I'm not good enough, my assumption is, oh, he's dating all these other women and he's moved on, and that
Yeah.
and
No.
and I've lost him for good and he's never coming back. But I knew he loved me and I knew we had a connection.
Yeah.
But I still felt like he's done. He's done. And then I
Yeah.
wallowed in that.
Yeah.
I had all these, like, I created my own misery with my own interpretations of everything, right?
Mm.
Because interpretation is so much of what we create for ourselves. How
Totally.
we interpret things.
That's
And of
it.
course, I was interpreting every little thing. And he's got no social media. Thank God.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. He's got no
I
social
have
media.
no Facebook, no Instagram, no anything.
Right. So I had no way to look at anything, check on anything. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I just went in my own head and thought, oh, he's moved on. He's sleeping with this one. He's dating this one. He's doing this. He's doing that. Right. And that's what I was experiencing.
I was just focusing on my daughter. That was it.
Right.
That's all
That
I
was
did.
it.
Just me
Yeah.
and Daddy. And I
Yeah.
did nothing else.
And you were still trying to work in that time too, weren't you, Eric?
Yeah.
Like doing, because COVID, you were home, but you still had to do some amount of work.
Yeah, we had to do,
And we would have these Zoom meetings where I would see him in the Zoom meeting. And of course, I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine. No, I'm good. Like trying to present this whole picture, but I would see him on Zoom and I'd be like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. but you know, outwardly I was like, oh, I'd put on the makeup and I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. But inwardly I'm like, oh my God. And we would get off the Zoom meetings and I'm thinking like just seeing him, I would miss him so much.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, why isn't he feeling that same way? Like we'd get off the Zoom meeting and I'd be like thinking, he's going to text me now because now he saw me. And then no text would come, of course.
I was shut down.
Yeah, he was shut down.
He was still shut down. Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
we, after a couple months of very little communication, I reached out and we communicated a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we had a big conversation where he told me that he thought we would be better as friends.
Okay. Okay.
Which, of course, crushed me.
Yeah.
And I was practically begging him to, well, can we meet in the middle? Like,
Yeah.
can't we figure something? It was, it's pathetic in retrospect. But at the time I thought I would take whatever I could get, basically.
Yeah.
And he was pretty hardcore about nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he tried to kind of normalize things on a friendship level. And I wasn't that open to it. But then I couldn't shut him down completely either.
That's right.
It was a very difficult place for me to be because I wanted him in my life, but I didn't want to be his friend. I mean, I'm totally in love with him.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a friend. I got plenty of friends. Thank you very much. Right.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stand the thought of him not being in my life at all.
Yes.
So it was a very difficult place for me to be. Like I wasn't quite sure how to navigate it.
And that's when you spend hours and hours and hours walking your dogs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And doing.
Right. So right after that is when I found you, because this was now January of 2021, my divorce is final. And I just felt like I can't feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
Whether he came back or not, I couldn't feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
And I was on YouTube listening to all kinds of stuff
Show her your tattoo.
until I got a new tattoo. But I found you, and my first go-to was how to get a text message.
Yeah.
Because I was still trying to get.
Yeah.
I was still trying to get. And I read all the comments of all these people that said, oh, I did this meditation and I got a text in an hour. And I was like, okay, but I wasn't quite buying into it.
Yeah.
But I was like, at that point, I had nothing to lose
Yes.
because I had already lost him.
Yeah.
So I figured I'm going to
Yeah.
try this.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know what he was going through,
Yes.
and we
Shut down.
shut down. He was
Still
going
shut down while you're going through the text message meditation. He's still got the hatches down. So I'm curious, Eric, what made you pop your head back out?
That's a good question.
That's the question.
Was there a turning point? What actually stopped you from feeling suffocated and wanting to be alone to popping your head back out again? Yeah.
I think we talked, right? We had a conversation,
We did.
and that sort of picked that up. Like, we talked, and it was like having a conversation, and okay, I miss you.
Mm.
I missed her.
So were you was there anything in your head where you were asking yourself, okay, she's still doing that?
But she wasn't, because
Yeah.
the conversation was different.
Oh, and you felt it.
I felt it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Marilyn, how long had you been doing the work before he felt like that?
Not that long.
About 4 months or something?
No, the first conversation we had was in January of 2021. The 1st conversation we had, because we had talked in
But that was, yeah, I mean, that started it. But,
right.
But
yeah,
as we move forward, having the conversation and hearing what you were saying, and it all felt different.
It felt different.
Yeah.
Because I was no longer, once I started working with you and doing the meditations and doing the affirmations and understanding that it wasn't his job to love me. That's my job.
Yeah. But you also did the inner child work too, clearing all that old emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my childhood was where I had 2 parents that both left.
Yeah.
They both abandoned me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to find that in somebody else to kind of fill that void of when you're 6 years old and both your parents leave.
Yep.
And when I understood from you that it's not his job, nobody's job to love you but you. And when we would talk, I didn't talk about the relationship. I didn't talk about getting back together.
Yeah.
I had taken my foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah. And he really taught you how to love unconditionally, to love him irregardless of the conditions, irregardless of what he wanted or didn't want. You were just going to love irregardless.
Right. I loved him no matter what, whether we got back together or didn't get back together. I came at it with an open hand. As opposed to this with my fists clenched. I gotta you gotta love me. Don't leave me with that panic, that fear of being left.
It's a big jump, isn't it, when you've had abandonment in your childhood to
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a very big jump.
Yeah.
I felt it.
You felt it.
I felt it. Like, okay, this is safe. This can be safe.
And did you, Eric, did you have to kind of test whether it was genuine through conversation? Through conversation?
But we just, once we started hanging out together and being in person, it was like,
yeah, it felt right. It felt right.
I got it. This is, it's all good. Right? I mean, there was a shift, definitely a shift, and it felt really good. Like, it felt safe, and it felt like, okay.
It took a minute, you know.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
We started kind of talking again in January of 2021, and that's when I started working with you. And it turned into like, we would talk like,
Yeah,
we would talk, like once, and then we would talk again, and then he started texting me all the time, and then he started calling me all the time, and I really had to keep my side of the street swept because there were things, of course, that were triggering me.
Yeah.
But
You know what I remember is when you and I were talking.
Yes.
You said, yeah, we're talking and we talk more regularly and that's great. But I still haven't seen him yet. When am I going to see him? I said, just wait, just let him. And then you say, yeah, he mentioned it, but then nothing happens. He doesn't.
Right.
I remember that
I
point.
I was still right, feeling the waters out.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
a lot.
It was. It's almost like you got to rebuild the trust of being, well, it's like an engulfment. You're being engulfed and suffocated energetically and emotionally because of the multiple things that had gone on, your mum passing away and then this breakup. It's like you're having to let people in little pieces. And this was your primary relationship that you had to set a boundary about. So it's a massive rebuilding.
I'm so happy that I did it.
Yes.
Me too.
I've never been good at it. Like, I've never been good at it. But for whatever reason, I had to.
Yeah.
And it's always been interesting to me that in all the relationships he's been in, and he's been married, that for some reason, this relationship is where he made that decision to set that boundary.
Yeah.
So,
Eric, would you say that the women in your life, what's the word? Disregarded your boundaries and suffocated and tried to take? Is there a history of taking women in the past?
Yes.
Okay. So
Definitely.
So that was a massive, and then not being able to speak up or not being able to say what you needed or whatever. Yeah.
Why did I do it now? I don't know.
Yeah. Just reached your limit. You reached your limit. Yeah.
And maybe it made more sense because I was like, this is really important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
it's huge. It is so huge to not let people take more from you than you've got, well, the resources for. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Now we're talking about it, like looking back on it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I did that. Okay. I never did that before.
Yeah.
It was like, this is
what a freeing moment to finally do that. That's an act of self-love for the self, is to not allow.
It is.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm kind of honored that he did it with me.
Yes.
Even though it was horrible and I was crushed and heartbroken, he saw something in this relationship that was important enough to set that boundary. As weird as that sounds.
No,
yes.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, in order for us to get where we are now, that needed to happen.
Yep.
And somehow he knew that. Which is crazy, because at the time I was devastated. Completely and utterly devastated.
Totally.
And I was thinking, how could he do this to me? You know, this is the person that was supposed to like be my person. How could he do this to me? I was a little bit victiming, right?
Of course.
But once I got past that and I found you and I started seeing things in such a different perspective, I was like, oh my God, thank you for dumping me. Right?
Yeah.
It was the best thing I could ever done.
It was the best thing you could have ever done. It was the best thing.
It was.
I would have never found my way to you, and I would have never learned everything that you've taught me.
Yeah.
if he
Yeah.
hadn't have done that. And that's why he's my greatest teacher.
But I think too, Marilyn, you and I talked about, because your situation was very similar to mine. We both had a Sagittarian male, and Sagittarians are ruled by I am free. I need to be free. And I remember Eric, Marilyn and I would talk about this, because my guy is a Sagittarian male. And he said to me, when I was doing what Marilyn was doing to you, he said to me, look, and he got a bit annoyed with me. And he said, I wasn't put on the planet just to meet your needs. And that was a tough slap in the face for me. But it was the greatest lesson of all.
Yes.
Because I finally understood how much of a child looking to a parent dynamic that I was having. So when Marilyn and I met, I was watching a replay of what I had just gone through X amount of years before.
Yeah.
So it was really fascinating how your story really overlapped with mine. And it's no surprise that we came together to do all this together. You know, it was
Right.
it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I was looking to him to make me feel loved.
Yeah.
And good enough.
Yeah.
And worthy of his love.
Worthy of his love.
Because I clearly wasn't worthy of my parents' love. That's the perception I had.
Yeah.
And now he's supposed to fix it.
Yes.
And I put that on him. And
Yeah.
there's no way that he could deal with that.
He
Who
can't.
wants to deal with that?
I
Nobody
know.
wants to deal with that. Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yes.
Ultimately. That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he couldn't, it was too much. It's too much for anyone. And it's not okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it took him breaking up with me for me to find my way to that understanding.
Mm. And you got so good, the two of you, at rebuilding the trust. Eric's lesson is setting boundaries when he feels suffocated, and yours was, I'm not going to put that on the other person. So you're both working parallel and really sweeping your side of the street.
Yes.
And then it's almost like once two people do that, the love just ignites again.
Oh, yes. It has.
Yes.
That's lovely. That's so lovely.
It really has.
It really has.
Yeah, it really has. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I think in the past, before the breakup, I kind of put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And that I was an overgiver.
Yes.
I wasn't an over texter or
No.
calling him all the time or texting him all the time. That wasn't my MO. But my thing was like, I was an overgiver where, oh, if I do this, if I do that, if I do this, he's going to love me. He's going to stay. He's going to stay. He's going to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dynamic is gone now. Now
Yeah.
it's a much more equal dynamic.
Very.
Yeah.
Because it goes both ways. And he's done amazing things for me. And I do amazing things for him, but it's equal. I felt if I didn't do enough, he was going to leave. I could just I felt like I could just hook him if I did enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's similar to, and this is something I would never do and never did, but like women who I'm going to get pregnant to keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't doing that because, you know, that ship has sailed a long time ago, but I was doing things like that to try to keep them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And now that dynamic is completely gone because I understand that I am first best.
Yeah.
Right.
And your birthday party.
And he threw this amazing birthday party for me.
It's
which
wonderful.
2 years ago I would have never imagined. Right?
Which, you know what cracks me up about the birthday, Eric, is that it was meant to be a surprise, but you couldn't hold the surprise.
Oh yeah. I told her.
You told her.
I told her.
It was there was too many logistics. There were so many people coming from out of town. It was like Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
like, we're doing this, but she did good.
Yeah.
She looked surprised.
Yeah, I did.
That's great.
did.
So
I
the
did.
surprise was on
I did.
everybody else. It was not on you.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But
That's
it was a
lovely.
really good night.
But
It
you
was
know,
a great fucking party.
we've been through a lot of stuff. We've
Yeah.
really been through a lot of stuff. And it was really, I really had to get myself in a better place to make the relationship work.
Yeah.
And I remember being in that place where I just felt so subpar. And
Why?
because that was the message that I was sent. And
It's our lives, both of our lives.
yeah, and I know that a lot of people listening to your channel are experiencing that same feeling.
Yeah.
The other piece of it is that I was going through all my stuff, not knowing what he was going through.
Yes.
But what he was going through was he still loved me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
That's right. And
Right.
thank God you didn't, in a way.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
because you worked more diligently because you didn't know that.
Right. I did. If I had
Yeah.
known he was coming back the whole time,
Yeah.
in the end, I don't think he would have come back.
No.
But it took a long time. It took, like, you know, I know that people are doing, like, you know, manifestations, and they're going to manifest their SP back, but it doesn't happen quick enough. Like,
Yeah.
why isn't this working? It's not working. I'm doing all these meditations and I'm doing all this manifesting, and it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. It's not going to, you're not going to be able to create it without
No.
the self-love.
That's it.
And also, it needs to happen in the time
It
it's
did
supposed
happen,
to happen.
right? It did happen, right?
It happened in the time it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because
And
it was,
and the timing is when the other person is no longer doubting your ability to maintain yourself. Like Eric obviously trusted through dipping his toe in the water bit by bit by bit,
Right.
that you weren't going to do that stuff anymore. So he had to witness the trust in each encounter with you to know that it was a sure thing and it was solid.
Yes.
were you experiencing that?
Yes.
Mm,
I got you.
yeah. Yeah.
Whole different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was putting
Yeah.
out my whole,
She was putting out, right?
Yeah.
my whole energy was different,
Very
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was no longer trying to get.
Yeah.
Not to say that there weren't moments, because, you know, we
good.
went
Oh,
up.
yeah, we go through shit. I mean,
Yeah, there was about 4 months where we talked very little, culminating into the conversation of him telling me that he wanted to be friends. That was kind of a moment for me.
Yeah.
When he said that, that was kind of a turning point for me,
Mm,
where I just felt like, how low can I get when
Yeah.
he's telling me that he just wants to be friends, and I'm still trying to get.
mm,
And after that conversation, I literally felt ill. Like, I felt
yeah.
like, how have you gotten to such a low place?
Yeah.
Right. And even though he was telling me he just wanted to be friends, he was still saying, I love you. And
Yeah.
it was so conflicting, and it was so challenging that I
Yeah.
just was like, okay, I
Yeah.
got it. There's nowhere to go from here but up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, when I started working with you, and then we started talking on a more regular basis, there was moments when I would get triggered, when I would
Yeah.
still feel like I might slide back down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
where I felt like I said something, did something that was egregious, that was so like, oh my God, I just screwed everything up. I've been working so hard, and we're building this thing back up, and I went and said that, or I went and did that. And
Yeah.
what was I thinking? And oh my God, I've screwed everything up all over again.
Yeah.
But every time I did that, and I worked on getting myself back out of that,
Mm,
it became easier every time because I was building my own self-love.
yeah,
And I knew that it was going to take time for him to trust me again.
exactly.
I had to build
So,
trust.
Eric, were you noticing, like Marilyn's talking about, oh, you know, I shouldn't have said that, and why did I do that? Were you noticing when she would slip back, or you didn't really take it
Wasn't
as
really aware of that.
okay?
That was in her head.
Okay, yeah.
Like I don't.
It wasn't a major offense in the breaking the trust, in other words.
No. Not at
Okay.
all.
And I think we can get so caught up once it's like what you always say, now that you know better, you can do better.
Mm,
So I know better, but I would still, but
yeah,
even if it was a little thing, because I knew better,
yeah,
I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah, that was in her head. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though,
I wasn't
bothered by those things.
Yeah, no.
Because overall
Whatever
she
it
was
was,
doing
I
really
don't know. But
yeah.
it was like we were moving forward. Everything was good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but because I had been working so hard on this stuff that
Even like a little bit of in her head, it's like, oh,
right, my tolerance for it became less and less and less. And so
For your
even
own
if it was-
behavior, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if it was something minor,
Mm,
I would be like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I know better. I know better.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's okay to slip back because those are all times where you learn how to cope with it. I would get triggered, I
Mm,
would react, but now I
Yeah.
had tools.
Yes.
Now I could say, I'm going to do meditation. I'm going to do my affirmations. I'm going to do Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
I had a toolbox now. I'm
You
going to
did.
listen to Love Yourself Like Your Life Depend on It.
Mm,
I've got all these tools now.
yeah.
So each time it happened, it was a little bit easier to get myself out and not allow myself to go back down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
If it, there were
and I
times,
didn't see it.
and he didn't see it,
So
but I was so,
she was feeling it.
I had
Yeah.
so much self-awareness now, where
Yeah.
before I was just like, I would feel something, I would trigger something, and I would just be like, blah, 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 just
Yeah.
out with it, right? And react to it. Then I learned, okay, I'm not going to react to this. I'm going to figure out why this is triggering me, take a
Yeah.
step back, do some meditation, do some Ho'oponopono, and
Yeah.
not put it on him
Yeah.
because it wasn't his.
Mm,
My triggers are not because of him. My triggers are because of me.
yeah. But you
It's
know what
not
I
his job
like?
to fix it.
I like what you have said, that it's swung completely the other way, where Eric will say to you, hang on, I can see something's not okay with you or whatever. And you're going, yeah, it's not about you. I will go and dissolve it. And Eric's saying, no, you can talk to me. And you're like,
Yes.
no, I don't want to put it on you. So it swung the other way, where he wants to know what's going on with you.
Oh my
So
God.
I love that.
You told her? Oh.
Yeah, I told him yes that was.
I'm like, how does she know this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
going
love,
the other
but
way.
I love that you, it's like now the trust is so strong that he's encouraging you to speak, but you're so used to sweeping your side of the street on your own and
Yeah.
not putting it on to him. It's like now you got to come back into the middle a little bit. And that's
Yeah.
isn't that a beautiful thing? That's a beautiful thing in the relationship. It's lovely.
Yes.
That's profound, where your partner's saying, here's my hand, and you're going, no, I don't want to lean on you. I've got to lean on my own. Like, that's just the opposite of what it's the opposite of what happened in the breakup, the total opposite.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. That is the most beautiful thing ever.
Because I've gotten to a place now where I understand that my triggers are my triggers.
Yeah.
And
But it's all on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem.
that
Yeah.
I have.
Come, like you just said, let's meet in the middle here.
Let's meet in the middle. Yeah.
Well, where I've come to now is that if something happens that triggers me,
Yeah.
I try really hard not to react to it in the moment, which is
Yes.
something that you have to learn, because
Mm.
that's not just something I believe that it comes easy or naturally. I think
Yes.
when you're in that moment and the emotions are so high, you want to react and you want to get that out.
That's
But
it.
I've worked so hard with you on
Mm.
learning that this is my stuff and it's
Mm.
nobody's else's
Mm.
job to sweep it up. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
at a point
But
now.
where's that dividing line though?
Yes. And I'm glad you said that, because it's like, before you put everything on your partner and they're like engulfed, and then
Right.
you learn all this and you swing back the other way. But now Eric's putting his hand out and saying, no, you can come and talk to me. I can hear what your stuff, because I know you're not going to put it on me, you're just going to share it. So it's like this is the next kind of beautiful part in a relationship, where the trust is strong and the other person really wants to hear where you're at. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Now it's like you got to learn to slow release it a little bit again. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's really wonderful.
And I do, I do share stuff with him when if I'm going through stuff that doesn't have to do with the relationship,
Yeah.
I will share that. When it's something that's triggered me within the relationship, I do try to take a step back and say, why am I triggered? What's happening in me? Where is this coming from? And then take some time and then come to him and say,
yes,
you know what? This was not okay. But I'm coming at it from a very calm
yes,
place. I'm not just reacting. I'm coming from a place where I've processed it and I've understood why it triggered me. And then I'm coming to him and it's not like he gets a free pass all the time. Like if he does something, that I'm not okay with, but I'm not just gonna like come at him like in the moment, like, a fireball,
yeah.
I will take a step back and process it and understand why it's creating this reaction in me. Work through it and then approach him.
So, Eric, from your point of view, because she's got good at sweeping her side of the street and you're putting your hand out, like what's happening on your end? You want her to share it more quickly? She doesn't have to have processed it perfectly. You're happy to hear it. Like what's happening?
Even with the process, I'm not sure if I'm getting it. I'm not sure if it's like she's just like sweeping her side of the street.
Yeah.
And not letting me come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she's just like taking it all on herself and
full responsibility. And you're like,
that you would come to me, like, you don't come to me.
Yeah.
And the only time we had that was at work a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and the party thing. So recently, it was around the holidays. I was hosting a work party here.
That's right. Yes, I remember you telling me.
Yeah, and he had said to me, "I'm going to help you. I'll help you set up."
And I didn't come.
And he didn't come. And he actually texted me at the time when the party was starting.
Yeah.
And I had these people here, and he texts me and says he's not going to come. And in that moment, I mean, of course I was triggered, but I didn't want to react in that moment. So, and I can do a party by myself. It wasn't that I needed him to be here to do stuff. I can handle a party, but it was that he said he was going to be here and then he didn't appear.
Okay.
And so I took a step back and I kind of processed, why does that trigger me? Well, that triggers me because he didn't show up for me. That's what always happens to me, right? That's my child saying, everybody abandons you. Here you are throwing this party and you're abandoned by the person who said he was going to help you. But I stepped back, I processed it. And a couple of days later, I talked to him about it, and I'm like, you know what? That wasn't cool, bro.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
was not cool. Like, I'm
Okay.
okay. I can do the party, but the fact that you kind of texted
Yeah.
me when the party was starting, telling me you weren't coming, that's not okay.
Okay.
And he took it very well. He was like, I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And so I did come to him with that.
Yeah.
Nice. So Eric, what happened on your end? You just went, I can't be around a whole bunch of people. I got to be alone. Was it just a,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
having a moment.
Yeah. And
And
the
that's
moments,
okay.
the moments hit when they hit.
Yeah. And I was okay that he was having a
Mm.
moment and that he couldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, like, let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, but I understood
Nice.
also that, and in the past, when he would have moments where I wouldn't hear from him for a period of time, that would completely trigger me and I would spiral.
Yeah.
Now, not so much. And now I've learned that when I don't spiral about it, when I don't get triggered by it, he doesn't do that so much.
That's it.
Right? That's
Yeah.
not, it's changed the whole dynamic.
Wow.
It's
Lovely.
like allow and let go.
Yeah.
If he needs time for himself and needs to do
Yep.
what he needs to do,
Yeah.
then that's okay. It's not about me.
No.
It's not
No.
about me. And
That's it.
I used to think that
Personalize it. Make it about, I've
Personalize
done
it.
something. What did I do wrong?
what did I do? What did I
Yeah.
say? He's going to leave me.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it. I'm not hearing from him because he's going to dump me now.
I'm never
Yeah.
dumping you.
Well, now he's never dumping me.
Ever.
But he, at the time, right?
Ever.
But this is only this way because of how far we've come.
That's
and
it.
how much I learned from you and
Mm.
how I understood the dynamic of what I was doing before based on my childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And I really did have to go through all that inner child
Yeah.
work.
That's it. Yeah. And then Eric just gets a much more, let's say, adult version of you
Yeah.
to have a relationship with.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
such a huge learning curve, but boy, oh boy. And I think a lot of men, unfortunately, sadly to say, are on the receiving end of women that have a lot of unprocessed inner child stuff that they're trying to make the guy the father. I think this is the pandemic. That's it there.
Yeah. That's the real pandemic.
Yeah.
And, I hear my friends or people talking about their relationships, and I'm hearing, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I hear you. I was you.
Yes.
But
yes.
this can be better.
Yep.
This can be okay. So for, your listeners who are going through this, it can be better. It can be okay. You can get your SP back. You can find someone and be in a good relationship.
And we spend, right? How much time just talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Processing and we'll sit out there on the patio for hours just talking about stuff.
Yeah, all of our stuff, both of our stuff.
Both your stuff, because it's like your friends before your lovers, your friends too.
Yes.
You have the deep friendship.
Yeah.
And your colleagues at work and you're in a relationship. You've got like different levels.
Yes, we do.
Isn't it great when you don't have to hide your childhood stuff from the other person anymore? It's like
we're all open, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are.
There's anything out there that's not.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
We are now, because I can talk about it in a way that's not putting it on him.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So now
exactly.
we can talk about it as adults.
Yes.
As opposed to me being a child looking for him to validate and fix it and make me feel good enough.
Yeah.
That dynamic is no longer there. But it comes down to the self-love, right?
It
I was saying,
does.
like I started with your YouTubes with the, how to get a text message, how to get a phone call, how to get, right?
Yeah.
But then when I started like exploring your channel and I was starting to listen to other stuff, even though early on I was like, this is silly. Like
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was doing the affirmations thinking, this is what?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is just like, who am I trying to convince here? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I kept moving forward with it, I realized that, yeah, getting a text is great. Getting a phone call is great. That's all lovely, but it's not.
Lovely. That's
But
her favorite word.
I learned it from Agnes, I think. But that's not what's really going to
Yeah.
create the healthy relationship.
No,
You can
really
get
isn't.
a text, you can get an SP back, but keeping that relationship in a good place and keeping it healthy, that's about the self-love. That's about the allowing and letting go. That's about cooling your skin,
Yeah.
right? That's about taking your foot off the back of their neck.
That's it.
That's what it's about. I mean, you can get a text, you can get into a relationship, you can get your SP back. It's maintaining it. And the only way you can maintaining it is by keeping yourself in a place of self-love.
Mentally and emotionally taking care of your own needs.
That's right.
Eric, did you like after you had the boundary set and then you broke up and then you were going through being shut down for a while, was there a point in your thinking where you thought, I just want a woman who just doesn't need me to make her happy or just doesn't suffocate me? Did you have a desire for that?
That's a great question.
Yes.
Was a conscious thought?
I don't think conscious, but yes. Because
because you were getting the opposite. So it's like for this transformation to happen, it's like there's two halves of the nut, you and her,
right?
And it's like for you to have what you've got in front of you as she is today, there must have been somewhere along the line a desire that ignited because of the suffocation that you'd received over your lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was obviously still something so there, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So there.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. And if that wasn't there, then none of this would have worked.
No. Right.
Yeah. There has to be that at the base. There has to be that intense. Well, it's a deep connection and a love. That's what it is.
Very deep connection.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. It is. Crazy that I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. And you guys I just know you guys just really love each other, and seeing the video of the birthday and all, it's such a fun, playful, quirky, beautiful love that you have. And
it's been a fucking wild ride.
It has.
It's
been a ride. And 2 years ago, there was nothing in my mind where I thought that 2 years down the road we would be where we are now.
Sitting here talking to you.
Right.
I know.
I mean, there were moments, as you know, Agnes, that I felt completely and utterly hopeless.
Yes.
That this was never going to be.
Yeah.
So if anyone is feeling completely and utterly hopeless, if you do the work and you do what you need to do and get yourself in a place of self-love, it's not hopeless. Because I was like, I really felt like I'm done. This is done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I single-handedly screwed this up, manifested it, created it.
Yeah.
And I'm done. This is done. Hopeless.
Yeah.
It's really not, because I would have never thought that 2 years down the road we'd be here.
No.
It's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful to him for trusting me and for
Yes.
allowing me back in, because I really betrayed his trust. I mean, I didn't cheat or anything like that. It wasn't that, but
Yeah.
I betrayed his trust in that I didn't respect his boundaries, and I was just trying to get all the time.
And that he has his limits,
Right.
like any human being,
Right.
that he's only got a certain energy
Right.
reserve. And if he needs some for him, and then you're tapping it as well,
Right.
it's like we're not loving someone when we're doing that. We're using them.
That's right.
As women.
Exactly
That's
right.
using a man and making him, his energy bank, go down. And that's
Right.
not who you want to be when you love someone. You
And
don't.
that's exactly what I was doing. Like,
Mm.
I was overgiving. I was overgiving, thinking, oh, look at me. I'm such a giver. But really, I was overgiving to get.
Yeah.
And that's not a genuine, I mean, I
Yeah.
genuinely loved him, but I had
Yes.
so much fear and so much insecurity that I was overgiving to make sure he wouldn't leave me. And
Yeah.
that's not open-handed. That's
No.
not a genuine, unconditional love.
And that's hard to admit to yourself, because you go, hang on, I'm giving. And
Right.
you convince yourself
Right.
that they're just not giving to you.
Right.
And
That's
that's
exactly
where
what's happening.
the thinking is so twisted. And it's
Yes.
a big thing to admit that to yourself. I am giving because I'm trying to get, and to admit that to yourself.
Right. And that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was giving to get. I was giving
Yeah.
to get him to stay.
Yeah.
Was I giving genuinely because I loved him? Yes, on some level, yes.
Yes.
But there was that ulterior motive.
Exactly. It's
There was
fear. It's fear-based
fear.
giving.
That's right. It was fear-based.
Yeah.
Fear-based. And
Wow.
yeah. And that was a big, I think you were talking about it, about yourself, that you were doing that too. And I was like, oh
Yes.
my God, that's what I was doing.
Yep.
That's what I was doing. It was so clear to me, that that's what I was doing. And
Yeah.
that's also, in the same, what I was saying before about him being on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Because if I just give enough, right?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he'll stay.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work. But it
No.
was because I didn't really love myself.
That's it.
He needed to love me to make me feel okay. And he tried. And
He
it was
did.
good. It was good for a day, 2 days, a week. But then I did more. Then I would need
Yeah.
more. And I was sucking him dry.
It's never enough. It's never enough.
And it will never be enough if the self-love isn't there.
That's
He
right.
could have given me everything. He could have told me anything.
Yeah.
He could have said whatever. Anybody that he, but it would have never been enough, because it was coming extrinsically, not intrinsically. And
That's
it's an inside job.
Yeah. And it's like
Good
when we're
job.
in that state,
Good job.
good job. It's like an addict chasing a drug when we're in that
That's exactly
state.
what it was.
Yeah.
And I could chase it and chase it and chase it.
Mm.
And the minute that high went down, like he'd say, I love you, whatever. And in that moment, I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah. And then 2 days later, I'd be like, right back needing the next hit.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So where you guys are today, because of the journey you've been on individually as well as together, what do you think is valuable for people to hear when they are where you guys were at the breakup point? What do you think is the important part?
Well, again, we don't know where those people are at, if they should be together or not.
Okay.
Right? Like, is there a point where you guys not good together?
Yeah.
But for us to not give up
Yeah.
and really look at it and look at yourself, look at myself,
Mm.
and know, I mean, I mean, well, I'd say we knew that we should be together.
Yeah.
Doing that work, right?
Yeah.
And really
Yeah.
working on it and really, but again, maybe there's times that people aren't supposed to be together, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not sure how you know that, right?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah. It's
Like,
it's unique for every couple, isn't it?
yeah, like, are you gonna work at something that's not supposed to be? I always felt we were,
Yeah.
and even in that time of my shutdown, I kind of knew that this
Yeah.
was, I mean, just based on that first fucking day, that first
Yes.
day that we
Yeah.
met, like,
Mm.
that was it. Like, oh.
Yeah.
And he said, he told me early on, like the universe brought us together,
Yeah.
which was a concept that I didn't quite understand at the time.
Yeah.
I thought that was all, oh,
Mm.
fluffy granola,
But it
Yeah.
was,
but
it always felt right. So I guess that's the thing. Like, as long as it feels right, don't give up on it.
Yeah.
As long as it feels right, like, you
Yeah.
gotta really feel it here. If it feels right,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't give up on it
Yeah.
and work on it. And but you gotta
Nice.
feel it. But you gotta be honest with yourself, right? Like, if it doesn't feel right, like if there's
Mm.
something here
Mm.
that doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
let it
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
But if you feel it, and like we did,
Yeah.
here we are.
and even in that moment, like with him, like when he set that boundary, he said to me when he was breaking up with me, something just doesn't feel right.
Mm.
Well,
And
didn't, yeah, well,
right. So even if you have that moment where something just, and you set that boundary, it doesn't mean that it can't be worked through and you
Mm.
can get to a better place. But from my experience, most of the issues that occur in relationships is really not about the other person. It's
Mhm.
about yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can get that, if you can get that self-love and get yourself in a place of really feeling first best and really
Mm.
feeling good about yourself, then the rest will
it'll all
follow.
come. Yeah.
It will come. And if that relationship really isn't right, then you're in a place where you feel good enough about yourself that it's okay.
Yeah.
That relationship isn't going to be, but that doesn't mean that, there's not another relationship that's going to be
Yeah.
where you need to be. It all works out the way it's supposed to,
Mm.
right? It's
Mm.
all, you put out the good vibes, the good aura, the good, what is it that Abraham Hicks says? The good, what does she call it?
Being in the vortex.
The vortex, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're in the right place there in the vortex, if
Yeah.
it's not with that person, it will be with somebody else.
And
Yeah.
you'll be in a place to understand it and know it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And you won't be in a relationship that doesn't feel right, but you don't feel good about enough about yourself that you stay anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Which I know a lot of people do. I'm guilty, 100% guilty of that. Right.
Yeah.
And what Eric is saying is like, he loved me and he knew there was something there, but during that time, it didn't feel right to him. So he set that boundary.
Mm.
And setting that boundary changed everything for us.
It
So
did.
just because someone sets a boundary and says, this is not working for me, whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't find your way back once you get yourself in a place where you can be in that healthy relationship. And if
And
that
the
doesn't-
relationship reflects how well you're really doing
right.
within your own selves
right.
individually.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when the relationship is spiraling, you got to look in.
Mm.
Got to look in.
So true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
All right.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you, you two. That is just
you.
special. Special, special,
Yeah.
special.
Thank
I'll
you.
leave I'll leave you to watch your Netflix now.
Without everything I learned from you, there's no way we would be here. 100%. There's no way we would be here. Like I said, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, whatever it was, I thought, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, I really learned so much, and it got us
Yeah.
where we are now.
Thank you.
I love you guys. I just think it's the most brilliant cherry on the cake. This story, it really is.
Yes,
So
we're a really good success story. And if I can have a success story, I'm telling you, anybody can have a success story. 'Cause it was not good.
it
And
was not good.
if I can get here, you all can get here.
Yeah.
I think I said it in my first interview, but I stand by it.
Yeah.
Because it was bleak. It was very
It
bleak.
it was bleak.
It was very bleak. But here we are today.
Wonderful.
So
Good. Lovely. Well, do you guys want to say just
Lovely.
goodbye to people? Oh, nice. Lovely. Eric, is that your word now? Lovely.
Yes, that's what I love.
that's the word.
Lovely.
Lovely.
That's lovely.
That's the
Eric,
word.
does Marilyn say to you, cool your skin? Because that's one of her favorites.
She does not.
I don't say it to him, but I say it to my dogs all the time.
Yeah, cool your skin.
I say it to myself all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Cool your skin. Yes.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to hear the background of both sides of the story. I think it's going to be really helpful for people. And I look forward to seeing the comments of people relating to your story and also getting very inspired by your amazing ending and result that you're now living. So thank you very much.
And we're happy to answer any questions or
Excellent.
more information or anything.
Yeah.
I know when I was going through it and I was listening to success stories and, you
Yeah.
know, it really helped me. I mean, I was
Yes.
like, oh, that's great for them, but what about me? I had those moments, but now it is me.
Yeah.
So I get that feeling. So if there's anything that we can say or share that's
Yeah.
going to help people get through this and learn,
Yeah.
get some self-love, we're happy to share.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me, Eric and Marilyn. And I will put the details to what we've discussed down below. And you guys want to say just a quick goodbye, and then I'll say goodbye and we'll say bye in private.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hang in there. You're going to
Hang
be okay.
in there.
It's gonna be all
gonna be okay.
right.
Yep.
It's going to be all
It's
right.
going to be okay.
If it's
Thanks for
not
joining.
okay, it's wait, what is it? Everything's gonna be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
Ah, very nice. Very nice. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And I'll see you in the next YouTube.